Okay, hi there. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about data segmentation. So one way we could send information over the network is to send everything at once, say the entire file that we're transmitting, or an entire web page with everything in it, with the images and whatever in it all at once. But that's not a very efficient use of the network, and also can cause problems, can cause delays for other users. So there's a better approach, and that's called segmentation. And what we actually do, or what the network actually does, is, and the devices, is as these users send information, we'll see this more in a moment, the information that they're sending is broken up into segments. And we'll talk more about what a segment is and what a packet is and all these in a little bit. But a segmentation is breaking the communication up into pieces. Ultimately, these get transmitted, as far as TCP/IP is concerned, into IP packets. So what this allows us to do is something called multiplexing. So different conversations, different traffic from different sources can be interleaved together. It's kind of like sharing the roads in our roadways, right? When I'm traveling to school, I don't get the whole lane of Highway 1 to myself as I travel north to Santa Cruz. I share the roads, Highway 1 and other roads, with other traffic. Some of them going to Santa Cruz, some of them exiting sooner, some exiting later, coming on at different points, etc. Okay, so segmentation does offer a little bit of a challenge, and that is what happens if the information arrives out of order. Well, it's similar to, let's say we send a 100-page letter to a friend. Okay, and we put each one of those pages in a different envelope and send them separately. Chances are they may arrive out of order. And that's not uncommon for that to happen in networks, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Talk more about that later. But the receiver is going to need to put those back in the proper order. So the way to do that is to actually, let's go back to here, is to label these before they're sent. So each one of these get a label put on it, some kind of sequence number. So when the receiver receives this information, it can put them in the proper order. Okay, and by the way, we're going to see later that this is done by a protocol called TCP. Okay, just want to kind of make note here of this segmentation. So here showing maybe a bunch of data being sent in an email, could also be HTTP or FTP, file transfer protocol, or anything else. But all this data here gets segmented into smaller chunks, to these little segments. Each segment will be transported separately. And we're going to talk about what all these headers are in the next video when we talk about encapsulation. But we're going to see that this chunk of data gets several protocols prepended to it. This is known as encapsulation. Talk about that next. And then this data is sent as, this all is sent out the network interface card on its way to the receiver. Then the same thing will happen with this data and this data. Okay, so we'll talk more about that in the next video.